Hello survivors, welcome to a brand new Soulstone Survivor video. Today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. We're not even worrying about the gameplay in the background. What we are doing is we're going to be talking about critical strike chance, how it works in the game, and what it does for you as a player. Now, normally critical strike chance works quite weird in games. Essentially it's capped, and unless otherwise stated, critical strike chance over a certain limit really doesn't help you. Now, the good example of this is for something like League of Legends, where if you get to 100% critical strike chance, you are going to be capped there, but some characters in the game can get over 100% crit, and when you do get over there, it actually applies the additional critical strike chance to additional effects like maybe increased damage or increased critical strike bonus damage. So there are caveats to it. There are ways that the over 100% crit can help you, but generally in a game, when you reach 100% critical strike chance, you guaranteed your crit, and that. Any other number you want after the crit would be critical damage. Now, that is very different for Soulstone Survivors. As you can see, we're sitting on 118% critical strike chance. What that means is when we crit, we are guaranteed to crit one time, and every single other time after that attack, we have an 18% chance to crit a second time with that same attack. So the higher you get this number, now it's 151%. What that means is every time I crit, I'm guaranteed to crit on my first attack. That same attack will now have a 50% chance of critting a second time, and that keeps going up and up and up. It doesn't matter how much crit chance you get. You could be on 1,000 crit chance. That would mean that every single attack that you hit with is going to crit 10 times guaranteed in succession. So it becomes very, very crazy. You get a lot of crits occurring. I don't actually know how that works in game with regards to showing the damage numbers for your character. It might not necessarily show it, but it definitely works. The developers have told all of us that critical strike chance multi-crits, essentially, so the same as like your multi-cast chance. As soon as you go over 100%, you are guaranteed that first crit, and every percentage over that is a chance to crit again with the same attack. So just putting that into words that make a bit more sense. Hopefully that does, and hopefully that helps you understand how it works from that. So let's get ourselves as much crit as possible, along with all that juicy cast frequency we're getting over there, and also very strong skill with flurry. It also has what we call form, which is a buff skill. As you can see, form, what it does is it increases our critical strike chance by 1% for 6 seconds, just increasing the base crit chance, which is really, really cool, which means that we are now sitting on 198%, which means we pretty much guaranteed to crit every attack twice. And what's beautiful about this is if we landed up going and taking things like bloodshed, so now we can apply bleed, we're going to land up eventually getting an upgrade or a chance to get a passive that's going to allow it so that every time we crit, there's going to be a 50% chance to apply a bleed stack on the enemy. Now, when you're playing skills like shrapnel bomb, or when you're playing any skill that deals extra damage based on the bleed numbers on enemies, or in case you just want bleed to kill the enemies faster than any other skill in the game, you want your bleed to deal the most damage, having more crit on your attacks is going to mean, there you go, we actually just got one now. So your critical strikes now apply bleed. The chance is 50%. So we got 50% chance on every single critical hit to apply bleed. What that means is now that we have nearly 200% critical strike chance, every attack will roll this twice, and it will either crit or not. And that's effectively doubling the chance of us applying bleed stacks with our skills. Never mind the skill itself actually applying bleed, we now get even more bleed stacks from that skill, and you can see, or will see when we get the bosses, just how important that becomes with the critical and the applying the bleed. Also, that then multiplies even further with all attacks having a 25% chance of applying a negative effect or the bleed as well. So in this case, it's bleed. It doesn't really matter what the case is. It could be poison, it could be doom, it could be anything like that burn as well. All of them have that 25% chance to apply the burn when you are playing, or the 25% chance to apply the negative effect when you're using their respective passive. And then because we have that critical strike chance one, as you can see, we are applying a whack ton of bleed to the enemies. You can't really see the health bar that different, but you can see that they have a full red bar when we activate the skill on them the entirety of the time. So that's the way that crit works. Hopefully this has helped someone understand it a little bit better, and to know that when you get over 100% crit, you then get additional chances to gain additional hits with crit. So again, let's just go over it. 100% is 1 guaranteed crit per cast. 150% would be 1 guaranteed crit with a 50% chance for that crit to for that attack to crit a second time. 200% means that every single skill attack, so every time you attack the enemy with a skill, every single skill will be guaranteed to crit twice per cast. So that is really, really good, especially when you add things like the brutal strikes into it, where your critical strikes now have 50% chance to apply bleed. That means the more times we are critting, the more chance we have to apply bleed. And because it's 50% chance, you are going to be applying more bleed with crits than you would with the bloodshed. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned something from the video. Please let me know down in the comment section if there's any other topics you'd like me to go over, and so on and so forth. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.